Hello, friends, family, and all the other people listening to this.
I'm just shaking my head over here because he always starts it off that way, and it's such an awkward hello. Who says hello? Hello.
I could say shalom.
That would be 100 times better, actually.
Shalom.
Not might. Yeah, it would be.
Okay, well, shalom then.
Shalom.
Shalom. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the second official episode of the Kiss the Wave podcast.
Episode 2.
Episode 2. I am one of the voices talking, Chase Sizemore. And joining me, I have the other voice you'll hear talking, Matthew Woodman.
Hello.
Yeah.
I mean shalom.
Thank you. I thought we established that that's how we do this now. So, last podcast, we were talking about what, Matt?
Oh, don't do this to me.
We were talking about the wonders of music. All the things about praise,
we were
all the
talking
different
about
words for praise.
We got off onto a long rabbit trail on
Yes.
on music. So we decided that we would continue that rabbit trail here today
Because
and just
why
start
not?
talking about music. Yeah, because why not?
Also, there's
This is
one
our
thing.
podcast. We can do whatever we want with it.
I mean, that's accurate. But two kind of things real quick. Firstly, what we're talking about today is a lot of just kind of our opinions on things about like the state of music and different things related to music today. Very opinion based.
So feel free to get upset at us.
Yes.
But also just take what we have to say with a grain of salt.
Because it's an opinion.
This is more of just a peek into our minds and kind of how we view music.
And the second thing that needs to happen is that Matt needs to share with us his favorite word in the English language. Mine was pomegranate.
You know, I've been thinking about that, and
Counters with a different fruit.
I'm gonna be honest, dude. I still don't know it. I thought about it multiple days over the past couple of weeks. I was like, I
Yeah.
have to have a favorite word.
You have to.
What is it? And I found some really good words, but none of them really stuck.
None of them are sticking
But I
with you?
promise, I will tell everybody my favorite word in the next podcast.
Okay, like pinky promise?
Next episode. Sure, let's pinky promise
Yeah,
here, right now.
here. Yeah.
Look,
There. Oh, yeah.
Wait, and then you lock it,
Lock it.
and then you stamp it.
Stamp it.
Stamped. Done.
The stamping,
happening.
The
Next
stamping
episode.
thing was new for me. I didn't know that was part of the thing. Is that
Yeah, I didn't know until
just then?
no, no, until I went through the Korean language course at the OLI, and
Huh.
apparently it's like a Korean thing.
Ah.
It's not just a pinky promise, but you like lock the fist in and then stamp the thumbs,
Huh.
like seals it. Yeah,
That's
it
like
makes
cool.
sense. It's a very natural motion.
Yeah, it kind of makes because it's all like works together in one motion. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, so there you go, little dash of Korean culture.
There you go. Let's make that a weekly segment. Here's your dash of Korean.
We'll see about that.
Okay.
On a side note, I really love that sticker you got going on your microphone there, bud.
Man, I appreciate that. I was just about to say the same thing about yours, man. It is
I
pretty
love
fantastic.
having Dwight K. Schrute staring at me throughout the entire session.
And there's nothing better than Jim Halpert being super disappointed in everything I say.
How did we get these stickers, Chase?
My beautiful and wonderful wife ordered 100 office stickers.
Yes, she did.
And there are a couple in there that are just absolute bangers. And I have one where Dwight is super mischievous and somewhat disappointing.
He's just coldly staring.
Just coldly staring. And then for Matt's mic, I'm staring at Jim being extremely
A nice large frowny face.
nice,
Yep.
huge frowny face. Just super disappointed.
Yeah, it was like a last second edition that we had the other day. We found the stickers and we were like, where do we put these? Because they were so good they needed to go somewhere.
Yes.
And we decided we would have them on the back of our microphones facing each other.
Because where else should this go?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
10 out of 10. I do not regret this decision.
I don't either. It's fantastic.
So, I think it's time we segue into our kind of topic for today, or at least where we're going to
my
start.
favorite segues are the hard segues where you tell people you're segueing.
It's the only way I can segue. Just me just shouting segue, and then we move.
Wonderful.
But I don't know transitions.
What are we segueing into here?
We are four-wheel segueing into. Wait, hold on.
I'm
If it's
pretty
four
sure they
wheels,
only
it's
have
not a
two
segue,
wheels.
is it?
No, pretty sure they only have two wheels.
Okay, this off-road segue because it's super rough. We're going to talk about our thoughts on secular music.
Yeah. Indeed. What?
I completely brain farted after that sentence. I wanted to go somewhere, but my brain's like, nah, you don't want to speak right now.
No, dude, that's totally okay. It's as Christians, there are a wide variety of beliefs when it comes to music, and so we kind of just, especially when it comes to secular music, as you know, how much is it okay? How much is too much? You know, where do you stop? What's good? What's bad? You know, is this gonna hurt my relationship with God? Will God hate me if I listen to AC/DC, you know, while I'm taking a shower in the morning? Am I gonna get struck by lightning? Chase.
I mean, I think you'll probably get struck by lightning.
I mean, it does
Especially
have
if
a
you're
lightning
listening
bolt in
to Thunderstruck by AC/DC.
Ah,
You will get struck by
hey.
lightning.
Uh,
In case you can't tell, I have an extensive knowledge of AC/DC's catalog of music.
next week he'll be back in black.
I'm more of a... No, I'm trying to think what my favorite song by theirs is now.
Clearly, it's Dynamite.
Dynamite? You mean TNT?
TNT.
There we go.
I do the lyrics. I always forget the name of the song.
So, I think this is going to be interesting because I think we have very differing views on this, or maybe not varying different views, but I
think we might have the same opinion but different application.
Yeah,
Or it's I think I'm in a different place than you are.
yeah. So
Let's get the big question out of the way.
yeah,
Secular music, is it bad?
how do you yes or no that though? I don't know if I can yes or no that.
I mean,
I'll
like,
say
you can't just blanket statement. I would say no. No, it's not necessarily bad.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't
not
just
bad.
go, oh, it wasn't written by a Christian author. Clearly, it's from the pits of hell. Like there's that. You
Yeah,
can't do
no,
that.
you can't say that.
But if it has a rock beat, is it bad? Because clearly,
I mean,
rock beats are from rock songs, which are, you know, they had like seances and rituals.
like,
Bless them with the powers of Satan.
it's not even so much. Okay, so like, if I play a G minor on a guitar, right, for a
Yeah.
worship song,
Sure.
it's not bad.
Yeah, but is the emphasis on the first and the third, or the second and the fourth?
Are you like trying to like music scale theory me right now? It's not how.
No,
this
I want a
works.
straight answer, Chase.
Yeah,
Rock and roll music.
rock and roll is it bad?
Is the beat bad?
No, the beat's not bad.
Okay.
That beat slaps sometimes, man.
Indeed, it does.
There's nothing better than like a good like gritty sounding guitar, like a good crunch, a good
Yeah.
follow that with some thick bass, and then slap on that satanic drum beat. And
But
it's
if I
just great.
if I play the opening riff to Iron Man,
Yeah.
am I now a heathen?
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I don't think you are,
Why not?
because
It's associated with bad things and people.
yeah, but that riff slaps. Like that's just a great guitar riff.
All sarcasm aside, I think the point that we're trying to make here is that it's not the music itself that makes something pleasing to God or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, as it is with many, many other things throughout this world, it is not the thing itself that necessarily makes it wrong for a Christian to use or participate in or listen to.
Yeah. So like I know for me, I listen to like an extreme variety of different styles of music, right? Like I can
Sure.
go from like 90s country to like King's Kaleidoscope.
Wait.
What?
Wait, you listen to country music?
Yeah, I listen to country music.
Oof.
What do you mean, oof? How dare you disrespect my heritage? What is wrong with country music?
Nothing.
Who doesn't like a good song about a tractor, Matt? You don't want to hear about
your pretty pink tractor?
Yeah, my pretty pink. I can't even say it. But yes, I do like to dive into country occasionally. But getting back to my point, I can go from like country to stuff like King's Kaleidoscope and
Yeah, like a sort of
Hillsong
like
and all
alternate
that.
rock.
Yeah, and then I can go like straight into the Black Keys, and then I can go straight into Iron Maiden and Metallica.
And then back to Taylor Swift.
No.
No?
That's what
Oh.
happens when the wife puts on music. Then we end up on T Swizzle. Yeah.
She wears short skirts. I wear t-shirts.
Yeah.
She's cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers.
That's,
Which I would argue is a better spot.
the bleachers are pretty great.
Yeah. Also, they have food. You're not eating while you're out there cheering. Sorry.
Yeah.
I have a hot dog. You have a
Therefore, I
pom-pom.
win.
I have a hot dog. You have a pom-pom. I win.
Is that just a challenge? Like
What?
I imagine like that being a game. It's like this versus this, and it's pom pom versus hot dog.
No.
Go.
No. It's not even a competition.
I'd agree. Hot dogs are great. But anyway, like, so for me, I don't inherently hold things wrong with secular music in and of itself, right?
Why not?
So I kind of look at it in two different ways, right? So my first is like just enjoyment side of things. Like,
Okay.
there are certain artists and all that I don't believe are like inherently like Satan. Like not every secular song is like worshiping Satan out here. Like,
If it's not directly worshiping Jesus, then clearly it's against him.
well, like no, absolutely not. How dare you? If I had the pillows next to where I was sitting, I would chuck a pillow at you right now.
Well, I have all the pillows. So.
I know. So I'm trying not to say anything that's
I
going to
also have the
trigger
hot
you to
dogs.
throw a pillow at me. But I just don't feel like it is. I feel like music is like as like true music conveys an emotion or like a feeling or an idea, right?
Okay.
And I don't think every idea, emotion, and feeling is bad if it doesn't somehow reference Jesus. Okay?
I totally agree with you on that. We're on the same page.
Okay. So like if like for me, sometimes I like listening to just a good sad song, you know? And like
Yeah, you got to play the blues.
I don't have to have it finish with like, oh God, you're so good though through this. Like sometimes I'm just sad and I want to listen to a sad song and like feel that feeling like to its extent. But like music in that term like helps me process that, right? So I don't feel like it's inherently a bad thing that I go to that. However,
I just have Hey Jude playing in my head now that you said sad
Ju-
song.
Oh my gosh, what a great song though. Beatles had some fantastic hits.
We back at the church that I was going to back in California. After I didn't leave my parents' church. I just stopped going to it because I was dating a girl and wanted to go to church with her.
Right.
And they had their worship leader was going to seminary and he was moving out to the East Coast and they had their own rendition of Hey Jude, but they replaced they replaced Jude with his name and like wrote a whole like all their own lyrics.
Huh.
to that tune. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I, I don't know how I feel
It was
about
like the
that.
send off.
I don't know
Yeah.
how I feel about that. That's interesting.
I thought it was cool. He
But
had a
yeah,
good time with it.
I don't know. I feel like I'd appreciate it if I was like there to experience it, and then I'd be like,
Probably.
hey.
Probably.
But I don't know. What are your thoughts on secular music? I feel like the people understand where I'm at fairly well right now.
I think we're very much on the same page, but I just don't listen to it as often, and I think the reason why is pretty important and should kind of define whether or not we decide to do anything that's not, totally focused on Jesus. And it's just, I'm at a point in life right now where I'll get distracted very easily and focus on things that I don't need to be focusing on. And so I really need the things that I spend my time with to help me continue focusing on Christ, because I need that right now.
Right.
And I find that if I spend too much of my time just enjoying things that don't necessarily put me in the mindset that I need to be in, that it leads me towards, back down that path of
Right.
laziness and apathy. And I don't need that right now. So I don't have anything
Yeah.
against secular music. And let's not go so far as to say that everything secular is okay,
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
right? Anything not directly pointing to Christ, we kind of need to put through a filter, and come to our own conclusions for us if it's something that we should be partaking in.
Right.
And one of the easiest filters to use is going to be Philippians 4:8. Paul writes, "Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things."
This is a fantastic verse. I love that verse.
Yeah, it's fairly all-encompassing when you have to decide whether or not something is good for you, will build you up or will tear you down.
Yeah. I feel like, in the music world, especially today, when you think of like hip hop and popular music culture, a lot of it rotates around sexual topics, a lot of degrading of like personal value in people in society, a lot of pride, a lot of drug use, a lot of money, a lot about.
Well, it's very personal,
Yeah.
right? These people are not,
Yeah.
they're not just singing about it because they want that. They're living it. And that's
Yeah.
why the songs are so visceral, right?
Yeah. I feel like the glorification of those things, though, is just like further perpetuating like how like young people and people listening to that music think, right?
Oh, totally. I 1,000% agree with that. I think, I forget who I was talking about this with earlier, but we don't have a lot of our role models are in the entertainment industry,
Yeah.
which I find really interesting. Actors, actresses, musicians,
Mhm.
artists of any sort. That seems to be the majority of the people that, even my generation looked up to.
Oh yeah. For
and
sure.
and it's even gotten to the point where some people will look up to a character in a story
Yeah, you're not
more
wrong.
than a real person.
Yeah, you'll see those things on like Facebook float around about like look at like so and so's admirable qualities throughout the series and things like that.
Yeah, I don't find too much wrong with analyzing a character and pulling out things that are good about it. But you can't be like, when I grow up, I want to be this fictional character. That's never gonna happen.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
I don't care how good you are at writing writing another human being into existence. You can't encompass everything that goes on with that. So at some point, even that fictional character is gonna let you down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As weird as that sounds.
Yeah. I mean, the purpose of like, I'll help out with another podcast that my buddy Chad does called The West Meta Show with his company 400 Productions, and there we had a published author on there, and I forget her full name off the top of my head, but the book I think was called like Unsanctioned Eyes or something like that. It was like
Yeah.
some crime novel, and we were talking about it, and when you think about it, the purpose of fiction writing is really to convey a message.
Sure.
Or for in a lot of cases, like the best books and works of fiction are the ones that convey some kind of like realistic or like message that you see like played out in the real world. You know, the character should be like driving towards something that's relatable or working towards that kind of concept.
Yeah.
But to kind of take it back to more like music and all today,
Mm-hmm.
I think you see like how bad the over glorification of like that culture and like society is, or how society views that culture is playing out negatively on young kids, because you see more and more of them striving for that kind of lifestyle, and you see a lot of really big people dying very young.
Huh.
Like when you think about it, you had like Juice WRLD that died in their 20s because of drug abuse. Like granted, he also had like mental illnesses and stuff, but like combining that with heavy drugs and alcohol really don't really help anything.
Yeah.
But I forget who tweeted it, but one rapper actually tweeted like, "Congratulations, modern hip hop culture, you have effectively killed someone because your music, or the music as a whole, is designed to glorify this lifestyle that's not sustainable for A, creativity, but B, for like practical longevity and enjoyment."
Yeah. On the other end of things, maybe not the other end, but a different perspective on it. Some of these people aren't just singing about what they want to have, right? They're singing about their lives, and that's heartbreaking to me. That they had to go through all of that, and that the only way that they could survive was to fight through that. And they had to go through all those different things. You know, they had to grow up in a home fearing for safety.
Yeah.
You know, they had to turn to a gang to make it anywhere in life, because that's what you did. You know, you get exposed to all those things at such a young age, and it really it shapes your mind in a way that I don't know if you ever truly recover from.
I mean, I don't think you can. I think that's why like child stars and like child artists like have such huge breakdowns that you get to witness, is because literally their childhood is kind of like ripped from them. Like I can't really think of many like child musicians and artists that like maintained like a normal childhood throughout their, or like a normal, I guess you'd say, view or opinion within the public eye. I guess like the first example that comes to mind is like Justin Bieber, right? Like just like by all standards went like completely off the rails there when he was like 18, 19, 20 years old, right? Yeah. But when he was like early Biebs back in the day with the fresh Biebs cut, like everything was like, wow, this is great. And then it was like, wow, why is he like this? Well, it's because he wasn't allowed to be a kid and like work through his thoughts or like develop as an individual. At least I would argue that.
Fame and a fat bank account will change anyone.
Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate.
No, that was just a phrase that was used for a whole. Oh man, how long ago was that? It was the whole like James Charles YouTube fiasco, makeup breakup thing.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just need to get my wife on here to
Fame,
catch us
fame,
up on
power,
that
and a fat
one.
bank account will change anyone. I think that's
Yeah.
how it went. But you would never know this unless you'd listened to the music or read the lyrics. So clearly, it's not gonna taint your soul if you listen to secular music. But
Yeah.
it's definitely something you have to be careful about. How much do you enjoy it? Why do you enjoy it? Where does it set your focus?
Yeah.
Does it make it easier or harder for you to spend time with God, to spend time in community, to build relationships? And that's the big thing for me. And that's why I tend to be very careful about the music that I listen to, because music has a big effect on me.
Yeah.
And I find that I can't just objectively listen to music. I can't just sit there and analyze a song. I can't do it. It's not. It has too much of an effect on me. No matter, even if I'm there, like before I listen to it, I'm gonna listen to this because I want to objectively analyze and learn about what this author is trying to say. I want to understand this message the author is trying to say, and it just doesn't work. It always affects my heart in some way.
See, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. Like I can sit there and like analyze a track, and I can like and have on multiple occasions just geeked out about the like musicality or like the way the lyrics. Stop laughing at me. Or like geeked out about like the musicality of like how the lyrics of a song flow together and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's cool. I really do. I laugh, but I think it's cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely able to kind of like disjoint like maybe something that's happening in the song or lyrically happening in the song to like appreciate like drum and like musicality parts of it, right?
Okay.
Like I can separate like very questionable lyrics that I definitely don't agree with versus instrumentation and all that is sonically and like musically dynamically fantastic.
Sonically fantastic. I love it.
Like I'm trying to think. Okay, so like my dad grew up, or when I grew up, my dad would constantly put on like the rock and roll station for us whenever we were working on like cars,
like classic
and
rock hits.
stuff. It was classic rock hits, and it was like 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s rock.
Nice.
Like exclusively. The occasional like
AC/DC, Blue Oyster
oh my
Cult,
gosh, my
Bon
dad's went to
Jovi. Nice.
seeing AC/DC multiple times.
Yeah.
And Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, Metallica. So like I grew up listening to that stuff, and when I first started playing guitar, because that's a lot of the stuff I was introduced to,
You played Chris Tomlin.
I played exclusively Chris Tomlin.
Which, let's be honest, means once you learned one song, you learned them all. You just had to transpose them.
Not to like diss on Chris Tomlin, but
Dude has some great music. I'm
he's
not
got
gonna
some
lie.
great songs, but I remember playing his songs and I'm like, wow, this dynamically is very similar to the other two songs I played of his.
Yeah.
I'm noticing a pattern, but regardless, I know his music.
Let's be fair, it's difficult to make music, so I don't blame anyone who
Yeah.
uses the same structure.
Oh yeah,
multiple
for sure.
songs.
But and like different music hits people differently, right?
Yeah.
Like there are some
for
people
sure.
where those Chris Tomlin songs really hit, and I'm glad for that. I'm thankful for that. Like that's a huge blessing, but it just doesn't resonate with me like it does other people, right?
Wait, you mean you like things that other people don't like and don't
I
like things
do.
that other people like?
Surprisingly, I do. There are certain things.
You have opinions on things?
I believe it or not, I'm actually very opinionated. Hot take. But kind of go back to what I was saying. Like
Yeah.
I can like disjoint. Like I'll go to this example that's a little bit more extreme, but like I can listen to the song Highway to Hell. I can play along with that song musically because I appreciate the musicality, no simplicity going on with the drums, mixed with the complexity / also like rhythmic simplicity of the guitar, all kind of like blending together and to make like a really good musical sounding track. Because let's be honest, if you take the lyrics away from the song Highway to Hell, you have just music.
And that is why I listen to a lot of soundtracks when I don't listen to Christian music.
Yeah, this.
Because I need the lyrics separated forcefully for me.
See, I can do it in my brain, but it was hilarious. I think we mentioned in the first podcast, but we both rock climb. We love it.
Yep.
It's a fantastic hobby of ours. I think it's a fantastic hobby. But he came over to do
It's a long way to the top.
climbing.
If you wanna rock climb.
What?
Huh?
What did you just say?
I said it's a long way to the top if you want to rock climb.
That's an AC/DC song reference. Well, replace rock climb with rock and roll, but yeah. I appreciate what you did there. I really
No,
do.
you don't. You hate me for it, and you know
a
it. I
little
can see it
bit.
in your
I
eyes.
actually hate you a lot for that, but it's fine. But this man who, like, I've never once heard on put anything of like exceptional levels of, how shall we say, heaviness in music.
Oh, you're talking about when we did our little
Yeah,
workout
so we
session?
did a workout session in the spare bedroom in the apartment I'm in right now.
Because the
And he's
gym was
like,
closed and we were currently still, our stay-at-home orders were still in effect.
Yeah, so this man puts on like a heavy metal like video game soundtrack,
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
like, we're kind of thrashing right here. I was like, what is this?
Yo, it was lit. I put on the soundtrack for the game Doom.
Not a sponsor. But
I
yeah,
wish.
it was. Well, do you really want to be sponsored by Doom?
Why not?
I mean, like, bordering satanic ideas and
just
opening the
kidding,
gates
dude.
of hell and
I'm
whatnot.
kidding. I'm totally
Not dissing
kidding.
the game. It's a fantastically
The
developed
artist,
game.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
But yeah,
The artist's name is Mick Gordon, by the way. For
Mick
anyone out
Gordon.
there.
You
Has
created
some
amazing,
really good soundtrack music.
amazing songs on that.
Yep.
But like for me, that's what I'm able to do, right? Like I can like go to bands like Avenged Sevenfold and look at like what they're playing and what they're doing, and I'm like, wow, musically this is fantastic.
Man, taking me back to my Call of Duty days.
Oh,
with that
I think
reference.
I think everyone that played Call of Duty just had a flashback when they were on BO2 on that grind, man. Holy cow! Actually, a lot of their tracks come from there. But yeah, for me, I just separate it out. For me, I don't view it as closely. But now, this isn't to say that if something is like extremely like vulgar or like if the lyrics are bothering me to the point where I can't separate them, I won't listen to the song.
That's fair.
Right? Like there are certain songs by Avenged Sevenfold that I cannot just sit there and listen to because I'm like, my brain is so distracted by what's going on lyrically, I can't appreciate the music. So either I find an instrumental version of it or I just don't listen to the song at all. Like
Yeah.
there has to be that cutoff. And I think that's an important thing, is like understanding like where you're at or like where you need to be spiritually with it.
Yeah, I mean, how does the music affect you?
Mm-hmm. Because
that's the big question when you're deciding whether, even with any sort of entertainment or anything that you habitually do in your life,
Yeah.
how does it affect you?
yeah,
And if it affects you negatively, if it pulls you away from Christ, if you find yourself using it to cope, or using it in place of spending time in your relationship with Christ, you need to consider putting it away, or at least reducing how much time you spend on it.
Right.
That was a big thing for me was video games. Something I still struggle with, to be honest. It's too easy for me to spend a lot of time on video games, and I don't get to the things that I know I need to do. And sometimes I find that I'm much more excited to go get on and play a few rounds of Rocket League than I am to spend time in my Bible that day. And that
yeah,
having that thought so many times in a row, it finally hit me, and I was like, why is it that this way? You know, I have an opportunity to sit down and be given wisdom and understanding from my Heavenly Father who created me.
yeah,
And I'm more excited about playing a video game than that. But that's probably something that we could save for another episode of the podcast sometime later.
Ooh, I'd love to get into that another time. Yeah.
We should probably start to land the plane here.
That was me.
Is that
helping land the plane.
From the LIA podcast? If you guys don't know, Chase is also part of like 50. Is it 50 other podcasts at this point?
75, but
okay,
you know,
just two.
No.
In reality, just two. But one of the other ones that
Yeah.
that they do, they land the plane and then somebody makes a plane sound.
I mean, like not always the pun. I almost said the pun sound, the plane sound. But yes, I do participate in 2 other podcasts, and then I edit for a total of 4. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's great. I love this.
You have any final thoughts for our listeners?
I think my closing thought would be, if there's something you're questioning what kind of impact it has, go to your close community and your mentors and people like that and really get their opinions on it, right? Because if it's something that's like really affecting you and you're like, is this really something? There's a good chance that it probably is affecting you in a negative way that you don't want. But B, it also gives your community a chance to kind of rally around you and help you with that. Like, let's say, man, I'm really like tired of listening to this kind of music. It's just not wearing on me. Well, you know, your community can suggest bands and other artists and like different types of music to kind of like get your mind off of those things and get your mind in the right place, or like different podcasts to listen to, sermon series to listen to, you know, whatever it takes to kind of refocus your mind on the things of him, especially if it's having a negative impact on you.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, great suggestion. And if you haven't found community yet, for whatever reason, one, I would suggest that you take the time to seek out community. It's really important, and that could be another episode we talk about the importance of community in the Christian life. But if you don't have that yet, Philippians 4:8, again, it's a great lens, a great filter to pass any content that you're any entertainment that you're intaking through, to find out if it's something that's good for you.
Yep. Well, thank you so much for joining us for yet another episode of the Kiss the Wave podcast.
Yeah. Stay fresh.
Stay fresh. Is that your tagline for
No, it's not. That's a horrible tagline.
Stay fresh, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. It's been awesome. Matt, you're awesome.
Oh, you are too, Chase.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.